KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them, whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury. San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 12th day of August, 2021. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air, of course, here in San Juan County, New Mexico, 103.3 FM over the air in Durango, Colorado, and streaming everywhere else from our website at ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who'll be watching this visual radio program on the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and even our Twitter account. Good to have everyone along with us this morning. A busy day coming up. In fact, we're going to start in just a moment talking with Dr. Eugene Schmidt, Superintendent of Schools with the Farmington School District. He's going to provide a live update for us on today, which is the first day of school for many students in the Farmington School District. So stay tuned for that starting in the next few moments. And then we'll be speaking with Cindy Crane. She is the CEO of Enchant Energy. Enchant Energy, as you know, is the company working with the city of Farmington to retrofit the San Juan generating station and its carbon capture project to continue keeping that plant in operation and the coal mine in operation after P&M moves out in 2022. We're going to get an update on that project from the CEO of Enchant Energy coming up later on this hour at 8:25 on KSJE. Mick Hess will be here in a little bit. Next hour, Roving with the Arts. He is featuring music this morning from Igor Stravinsky on Roving with the Arts today. And don't forget, of course, in addition to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, we invite you to connect with us on our Instagram page as well. It's a cloudy morning so far today in Farmington and San Juan County. Current temperature 69 degrees. We're expecting a partly sunny day today with a mix of clouds and sun and maybe some afternoon scattered showers or thunderstorms. A high today 93 in Farmington, 64 overnight. It'll be 91 with partly sunny skies tomorrow and a chance of showers. 88 with a chance of showers on Saturday. 90 for a high on Sunday and Monday, I should say, pardon me, with overnight lows in the mid to lower 20s. Well, let me turn to my guest who is here with us this morning, as I mentioned, joining us by phone for a live update today on what is the first day of school for a number of students across the Farmington School District. Dr. Eugene Schmidt is on the phone with us this morning. Dr. Schmidt, good morning, and thank you for your time.
Good morning, and I will share with the community. Welcome back to school. With me in my office this morning is Robert Taboda, who is our Public Information Officer. And I wanted to share, maybe, Scott, just with a couple of numbers, and then we can talk about the details. But we're very excited to have, we anticipate over 10,400 kids streaming into schools today. So it's a big, wonderful day for Farmington, and we thank parents across the community for believing in public education. But let me take just first a couple of numbers.
Okay.
We're excited for those 10,400 kids, but the community will also be interested in knowing that this will be our 115th graduation class. The class of 22 will walk out the door in May is the 115th. So we've done this at least 115 times, have this day that we honor and celebrate across the Farmington community. And Scott, one more number with permission.
Sure.
I want to celebrate your number.
Oh, well, that's a big number.
I happen to know that this is your 31st San Juan College anniversary, and perhaps you can explain to the community. But in the process of that, Scott, I'd like to have you remind the community how many times you've done my PV graduation announcements.
Well, that's another big number, Dr. Schmidt, and thank you for mentioning that. This is actually, you're right, my 31st year as an adjunct instructor here at San Juan College. I started a little bit shortly after I arrived here in Farmington, being allowed to teach here at the college, so thank you for that. And
I
as
was going to tease you, I think Noah was around about that time.
I think the flood waters had just receded when I arrived, I think is what happened. And then as far as PV goes, and this makes me sound really old because as long as PV has had a graduating class and graduations, I have been one of the announcers. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah, you are an asset to our community, and those 31 years must be something that you'll reflect on with some degree of just quiet pride.
Well, a lot of students have had to deal with me. I guess I'll put it that way. But I hope they've learned something in those classes. But thank you, Dr. Schmidt. And congratulations on the first day of class, of course. And I know there's been a bit of controversy. I don't know really why, unfortunately, about getting kids back in the classroom, which I thought was everyone's goal, and we wanted to do that. And now, the school board has asked that, and you, I think, too, recommended that students wear masks when they're on campus and in school so that everyone can come back to class in person. And can you just maybe walk us through a little bit of those conversations maybe that you had with the board or what their directives was to you to get us where we are today?
Yes, and I thank you for this opportunity. And again, I thank the Farmington community for allowing me to serve as their superintendent and the leader of the school district. It is with excitement that we return to learn in person, and that has been a consistent theme for the community for these last several years. We spent the better part of 18 months in a remote world, and people said, get our kids back in school. We have honored that request, and we want to do it in a safe fashion to get the year off to a start. So in my guidance to the board and to the community, I have directed that we come back fully masked. And so there's a difference between indoors and outdoors. When kids and staff are outdoors, we have relaxed the mask rule, certainly during cafeteria eating and drinking times, but when kids are indoors, we're asking that we do a safe thing to help us begin the school year. Last year, you remember, we did have some in-person time, and it seemed like we spent a lot of time chasing COVID quarantines. At one time I had over 400 kids on quarantine because of possible contact exposure. I have asked our community to let's just focus on academics and student health. Once the school year gets going, then we can have conversations about, more closely aligning to the state toolkit that allows grades 6 through 12, if proof of vaccination is shown, that we may relax the mask rule. But to start the year, I want everybody to be safe. I've talked to our middle school and high school principals. They have asked the same. Bring us all back so we are all together in a unified back-to-school approach. Then over time, we will begin to study, how many kids have actually shown proof of vaccination, student and staff, as we perhaps look for ways to relax that rule a little bit. But importantly, I'm asking people to pass, just kind of park their mask and vaccination things at the edge of the school property. Let's get all the kids back in a safe and healthy atmosphere, that we can do that in mask, and that we can make the focus on learning. Scott, I will share with our community that we have a lot of unfinished business. We in that 18 months or so of mostly remote, we are still trying to understand how much learning that might have taken place in person didn't take place in a remote world. And so I'm calling that unfinished business. We've got to catch the kids up to the things that they maybe didn't fully understand in a remote world. And we can do that in a safe jump start to the school year. So one of my mantras as I go about the community is we have unfinished business. And then the second part of that is we have a goal of having grade level expectation. Every kid should be at grade level. And then we want to have the conversation, how do we make this more than just a year of learning? How might I turn this into an accelerated learning year where not only do we catch up on the unfinished business, that we look at the current grade level standards and then look for ways to accelerate kids, and so we know that they'll be ready for their tomorrows. It's just going to be a great year, and I just appreciate all the community support that is so happy to have kids back for in-person learning.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that, Dr. Schmidt, and of course, congratulations again on getting kids back in the classroom, the face-to-face learning. I think everyone can agree, I hope we can all agree that that is really important for kids after a year and a half, as you mentioned, of remote and going back and forth, and we're all thrilled that that's able to happen, but of course we want it to be done safely, so that's important. And I know you and I will have a longer conversation in just a couple of weeks when you come and visit me for your regular spot, so I'll look forward to that. I do want to point out to you that I was feeling very gratified this morning on my short commute to work. I passed a crossing guard who was out already doing her job. I passed a school bus that was out collecting children for the school district, of course, and I also happened to look over at one of the front yards at the house that I was driving by, and there was a mom out on her knees, kind of crouching down to take the first day of school pictures of two daughters in front of a tree in front of the house. So the typical early first day of class things are happening, and it was gratifying to see. So I just wanted to share that with you this morning, Dr. Schmidt.
Yeah, if I can jump back in for a few more minutes as well. I had the same opportunity to drive through my community, watching moms and dads outside with their kids and how proudly kids are returning to school. I see yard signs across town that are being posted by our new teachers. And so it will be interesting for the community just to realize that we have almost 1,500 employees scattered throughout the community that are part of our community. And just as our community gives to us, our staff gives back through local purchasing and their buying power. So it really is a wonderful relationship that we share. And it just, if we just accept we're going to start the year in masks, we're going to be safe, we're going to focus on learning, it just becomes such a positive experience for all. And so, Scott, I wanted to also thank you about the traffic and the crossing guards and things.
Right.
Let's remind people that I've got 10,400 kids out there on the street. Be watching your crossing guards, be watching, sometimes kids forget that they're on sidewalks because, they've been playing in the street for the last summer. So I just ask our commuters to be watching for the next 180 days as kids are out on the street.
Good advice, and certainly not just in Farmington schools, but in every school district across the listening area. We need to be aware of all those kids coming back to class. So, Dr. Schmidt, as always, I appreciate you and your time. I know you're a busy guy, especially today on the first day of class. I imagine you'll take some visits to some of your schools, and hope you have a great day, and we'll talk in a couple of weeks a little bit longer about this.
Thank you, Scott, and congratulations on your anniversary as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's Dr. Eugene Schmidt. He is the superintendent of schools with the Farmington School District, giving us a live update on today, the first day of class for Farmington schools on KSJE. Back with more, of course, in just a moment this morning. The time is coming up on 8:23.
A technological